So this one is one I've been wanting to do for a long while. I've been wanting to talk about how I've transformed my body and my marathon time over a period of months and some of the things that I did to do that. So there's been a variety of factors that have led into this happening, and I've not actually formulated it all in a video yet. So I thought I'd go through each different stage, each different thing that I focused on to improve my marathon time from 3:22 to 3:02 within a space of months, and also transform my body from this to this over that same period. It wasn't by accident. It wasn't something that naturally happened. I had to think about this. I had to make a decision to improve myself. I had to make a decision to improve myself in terms of how I feel and how I look, not so much in comparison to anyone else, but to myself, and knowing what I am capable of and knowing what I want to do in the future. So some of the things that I've focused on over the last few months are, the first thing is tracking my diet. And this has been something that's been the major thing for me over the last few years. When I was competing at a really high level when I was younger, I had a bit of a love-hate relationship with food. I used to be really strict with myself to try and improve my VO2 max by lowering my weight. I had a few eating issues when I was younger. I then completely turned that on its head, and I didn't even think about it for years and years. And I ate what I wanted, when I wanted, how I wanted, and I did that consistently for, I'd say, a good 15 years, 10, 15 years. And it was only until recently, after my wedding last summer, I looked in the mirror and I thought, I'm not happy with how I am, how I look. I need to improve something. So around about December time last year, I started thinking about it a little more. And then I went to Australia to catch up with friends and do some work. And then after I got back in January, I decided I'm going to be a bit more strict with how I prepare my food and what I do. So the first thing I did was I downloaded MyFitnessPal. I don't work for them. I've got no affiliation with them, but it's just a great tool for tracking the food you eat. I did that for a period of 2 weeks, just writing down what I actually ate in those days. I didn't change anything. I ate what I felt like, but I wrote it in there. And I was realizing I was eating probably 4,000 calories per day of food that wasn't necessarily nutritionally good for me. Not enough protein, not enough vitamins, nothing like that. So I decided to think about myself a bit more. I watched lots of videos on YouTube. I listened to lots of podcasts. I took a lot of information in. I've got a sports science degree from Loughborough, so I've got a lot of knowledge in this area. I just haven't applied it or thought about it for a good 15 years. So then some of the things out of that I did were increase my protein intake. So being very conscious around about the protein that I ate in a day. So rather than eating just whatever I felt like, I would consciously try and eat. So it was 1 gram of protein per 1 pound of body weight. So, or 1 gram of protein for 2.5 times my kilograms. So with that, I was increasing chicken, increasing meats, increasing protein shakes, and all that sort of stuff. I'm making a note of it in my MyFitnessPal, and that really, really increased my strength when I was in the gym, which I'll come on to later on. As well as that, I cut down on, initially, my calories, my overall calories. So initially, I was eating, say, 4,000 calories a day, quite easily, bag of cookies, pizzas, big breakfast, cereal, all that sort of stuff. But to stop that, I did a little bit of the intermittent fasting at the start. It's not the perfect scenario, and now I don't do it. I don't think it's overly healthy, but I did that to try and break the habit. So I cut one meal out, the first meal, and replaced that with a protein shake and had my usual lunch and dinner. And even by doing that, I got myself down to like 2,500 calories a day. And then once I did that, I realized, okay, what's my minimum caloric intake for the day? How much do I need to just do running on a daily basis, or run my body on a daily basis to function at the same level in terms of my work intensity and my training intensity? So what I realized was I needed around about 2,500 calories per day to do that. So initially, to lose the weight, I had to go less than that. So calories in, calories out. If you don't have enough calories, eventually you'll lose body weight, body fat. And it worked. So I did around about 2,000 calories per day. So I was essentially 500 calories per day deficit. And over a period of months, I started losing the weight. So from 75 kilograms down to 72, 70, 68, and down to what it got to in the end was about 64, 65 kilograms, which is reasonably light for my height. 5'10" on Tinder, but actuality more like 5'8". I'm not on Tinder, I'm happily married, but I just thought I'd say that. And as well as doing that, I, at the same time, started taking some supplements in terms of a daily greens, essentially. It's actually athletic greens. I got targeted to by loads of different people on podcast adverts and whatever. And I just thought I'd try it out. And it's been great because it means that I've actually had guaranteeing myself the right vitamins, the right nutritions that I didn't normally have. I'm not a big vegetable eater, never have been, so it really helped me get that in there. And as a mental thing as well, it actually made me think that I'm being healthier by just having that sort of stuff. So that was a great starting point. Protein intake, taking more vitamins, reducing my calories to a level where I was actually losing weight. And when I got to the weight that I wanted, I then increased my calories again. So I wanted to actually gain a little bit of weight. So I could then eat 2,700 calories per day to gain a little bit of weight. So all that sort of stuff was happening. I got myself down to a level where I was really happy with. It took probably, from starting doing this consciously, 3 to 4 months to get to where I wanted to get to, which is actually not a long time if you think about it. But when you're doing it, the first few weeks and days, I didn't feel good. I felt tired, lethargic, and it wasn't a nice experience for the first month. But once I got into it, into the habit of tracking my calories and looking into what I was eating, I felt really good about things. So that's the first thing that I did to change my body and to make sure I felt better, to get to a place where I was happy with my marathon time. The next thing I did, which I've been doing and I've done a video on before, is I stretch every day. So I want to remain injury free. I want to make sure I don't get injured, and stretching every day for either a 10-minute or a 25-minute session has been massive. So I do that every single day. I do not miss a day. I haven't missed a day in years. I've missed 2 days in three and a half years. So, and that was because of stag do, and I woke up late and had a flight and all those excuses that you give yourself. But apart from those, I've not missed a day. And that's been massive for me. At this point in time, it may not actually be much benefit, but mentally for me it is, because I go for a long run, do a hard gym session. I know I can reset my body, get back to where I was before. And yeah, I'm not like a gymnast and I'm not doing backflips and I'm not the most flexible person on earth, but I'm resetting myself every single day with a stretch, and it's been massive for me mentally and for my body to be able to do that. So I really recommend doing stretching every day if you can. If you can't give yourself 20 minutes, 25 minutes to yourself to do a stretch, then like, what are you doing a day? You're watching TV for probably an hour, 2 hours, scrolling on your phone, looking at things. Doing a stretch for me, this is what I told myself, by the way, wasn't a massive deal. So yeah, that was the next thing I did. Strength work. So this is something I did when I was competing at a decent level at running. We used to do strength work, but it was all facilitated around 800 meters, 1500 meter middle distance training. And what I wanted was to, like, vainly look good in the mirror. So the gym work I've been doing over the last 6 months have been really, really basic stuff. Compound lift, 1 compound lift per day. And I've molded that into a push, pull, and legs day, essentially. So 3 times a week. First day, pushing, bench press, shoulder press, that sort of stuff. Pull days, weighted chin-ups, and rows. And then a leg day, I focused that on Bulgarian split squats. So I've got an imbalance because my knee injury in my left knee really weak, left leg's really weak, my right's quite strong. So I just did lots of Bulgarian split squats, which have helped me massively, because my left leg now going from, say, 10 kilograms in either hand, doing a Bulgarian split squat, I've gone to now doing 25 kilograms in each hand, and I'm feeling way stronger and way more secure in my body. And I look better in the mirror as well because my upper body work has been great. So that's been massive for me. Strength work, I don't necessarily enjoy it. I don't necessarily like going to the gym. It's a bit of a faff, having to get there, get changed, put your things in the locker, go do your session, all that sort of stuff. Whereas a run, you just get out the door and just do it. Very, very simple. So for me, doing that's been quite interesting. And I will definitely keep on doing it. There's lots of research to say that resistance training, especially when you're getting older, it becomes more and more important. And it's something now I'm pretty passionate about keeping in my training, and I don't think I will stop doing that. And I think because of the benefits that I've gained, it's actually reinforced the fact how important it is to me. So yeah, strength work's been a massive thing, and I've quite enjoyed the progress, not necessarily the actual going to the gym, I've made doing that. The next thing is more marathon related. I've been doing longer runs at a less intensity. So rather than doing 4 to 5 runs a week of, say, 4 to 6, 7 miles, I replaced that with 3 10-mile runs. So a 10-mile run, it's an hour and a half, hour 20 minutes, an hour and 10, depending on how fast you're going from my perspective. It's not the most fun thing to do because you could probably think of better things to do with your time. Exercise-wise, 45 minutes to an hour is probably my comfort zone. Anything longer than that, it gets a little bit boring for me. But I've been doing that consistently over a long period of time, and I've not broken it. And because I've done those 3 long runs and I've not done running on 4 or 5 days a week, I found it quite enjoyable. I've been looking forward to going for my run. I've been looking forward to actually getting out the door and doing my session. Because before, if I was running 4 or 5 times a week, it became something I had to do. It wasn't something that I was looking forward to do. And if you're running 3 times a week out of the 7, it's not every day. You can actually think, all right, today I've got a gym session. Tomorrow I can look forward to going for my 10-mile run. What route shall I do? Where shall I go? Who shall I do it with? Whereas if it's a thing you had to do every single day, it wasn't overly enjoyable. And obviously, if you want to run faster and do faster times, then you'll have to run more. And what I'm saying here isn't relevant. But for me, to get myself back into the groove and run basically a 3-hour marathon, it has been a consistent thing I've done, and it has worked. The next thing is racing. So this is something that I have been, obviously with Run Through Events, I'm around every single weekend. I see people racing all the time, and I love it. And if I could, I would race every single weekend. I haven't done that, but I have put in at least every single month a race, a run-through race on nearly every occasion, apart from the Chester Marathon that I did recently. And those are great because I can jump in and essentially do a tempo run, something where it's quite intense, running in my 10-mile runs between 7 and 9-minute miles, depending on how I felt. Whereas these races, I'm running 6-minute miles for a 10K or a half marathon, 6 minutes to 6:30, 6:40, 7 minutes. So that's been great. I've enjoyed doing those races, jumping in with people and being pushed by the people around me. So racing or tempo runs, great part of the schedule, and it's something I'd recommend to do for everyone who wants to run a faster time or just improve their body composition. The next thing is consistency. So as you can see here, I've said that I've done 3 runs a week and 3 gym sessions. So if I did 1 week, I would do 2 runs and 2 gym sessions. I wouldn't be consistent with my training, and I have not done that. I have not broken the 3 gym sessions and 3 runs per week for more or less the entire time I took my focus onto this, from February time in 2023 until the race in October. Pretty much every single week, I've guaranteed myself those 3 runs and those 3 gym sessions. Sounds a bit crazy, and it sounds like something that, with the amount of workload we have and with what we're doing in our businesses and with the family life, I've just had a little one as well, so thanks to my partner for helping me out with this sort of stuff and allowing me to do these things. But with those things, you'd think that I wouldn't have the time to do it, but there is the time. I watch an hour less Netflix on one day at night time. I don't scroll my phone for as long as I need to. I'm more thoughtful about the work I'm doing and more targeted with things. I'm being more in control of myself. And because I'm doing that, I'm more consistent with my training because I have the time to do it. I can make the time to do it. And I do have the time to do it. So I know other people are in different scenarios that don't have the flexibility with their work and different patterns that are imposed on them. And that's understandable. And if you've got little ones as well, that's obviously difficult because unless you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go to bed at midnight every night, then it's going to be very difficult to fit things in. But if you can find those gaps in your day where you do have that little bit of downtime and you can convert your mind into thinking, I'm not going to do the thing I used to do, which wasn't productive. I'm going to get my trainers and go for a 10, 15, 20-minute run or a stretch or a HIIT session. Then I think over a period of time, you'll realize that there's more time out there than you initially thought. So yeah, being consistent has been massive for me, and I really think that's been a massive changer for me in terms of how I have changed my body composition and my marathon time over the last few weeks and months. So there are the reasons what I think has contributed to my body transformation and to my marathon time improving somewhat. I don't know where it's going to go. I don't know if I'm going to keep on pushing this sort of thing. What I do know is I'm being consistent and tracking my calories, even though now I don't mind having the Dominoes and the cookies and enjoy myself. If I track it, I know it's there. I can see it in my eyesight. I know that if I do this consistently over 7, 8, 10 days, I'm going to gain weight, which means I'm going to have a poorer body composition, which means I won't be happy with myself, which means that I'll be chasing my tail again. So when I'm tracking and being consistent with that, and I'm pushing myself to meet my minimum criteria of 3 gym sessions and 3 running sessions, they might vary. I know I'm going to be in the right track. And if I can do this over a period of 2 or 3 years, maybe my marathon time will improve, or I'll find a new challenge that I want to do. But I'm hoping I can keep this going I'm enjoying the process currently. I'm enjoying seeing myself improve, and yeah, it's been great. And I hope that was informative to anyone. I know it's probably not the same for every single person watching this. Everyone's got their own scenario and their own goals and ambitions. But for me, this is what I did, and I hope you enjoyed that. I am Matt Wood, and you can find me at Matt Woody Wood on all the different channels.